Sometimes I think about you and the way you used to ride out in your rhinestones and your sequins. The sunlight on your hair, oh, the crown will always ring. But for me, I've come to know everything is not gold.
I think that the average fan that picks up this album that sees this title skips to this song, which is Everything That Glitters.
No.
I am a huge Dan Seals fan. I went out of my way to go see him in concert many, many years ago. Ray John's my favorite song by his, but this is right up there with it.
Yeah. And the thing, he's a cowboy.
Yeah.
You know, well, at least he's got off into, you know, I will admit, I would not have, this is the last song I recorded on this album. I had everything done, and I went back for a specific reason, not to have somebody look at it and say,
"What's missing?"
I want a song I've heard. It's here and there, but I asked my fans on social media, said, if I cut a rodeo record, what 3 songs do you have to have? And I was shocked that this was like, the other ones you could tell, like somebody would say, you better cut 17, you know, and right. I know who they are, you know, that
people that know you.
Okay, but the people who say you better cut 17 also said everything that glitters. Now, the other people would say everything that glitters in Amarillo by Morning. But the cross that everybody said, you need to cut everything that glitters. And maybe it had something to do with that I had played it, you know, and obviously in some of my dance shows, you know, right. I don't only do 90-minute concerts. I do 3-hour dances of my stuff and don't take breaks and like Johnny Bush, that's, you know, that hero right there in as far as playing
right.
dance halls. And maybe it had a little bit to do with the people that heard me sing it or something. But again, you know, like I said, Chris Wall had told me, I had a guy, everything he tries to teach me that I, please. And he's like, I had a guy come up to me and say, you know, I have a great idea for a record. Every song should start with B. And, you know, Chris did the same thing I'm doing right now and that you're doing. Like, what's the punchline there? There's not. To that guy, it was cool if everything started with B. And the point of that is just because it's important to you or doesn't, just because it's, everything ought to be important, is that guy's opinion is as important as yours, and you're not the judge and jury of what's cool. My fans overwhelmingly said, cut everything that glitters. And so I went back and did it. And the strange thing about it, you know, I'm not a single dad now. I'm not. But there was a point when I had empty nest syndrome and my older kids were out of the house and you have them by your own and this and that. I immediately felt that again with this song. And again, I'll never say that I had control of my kids and my ex didn't want anything. Never in my life would I say that. She's a great mom. But I will say I understand the separation issues that comes with this song, and the fact that my older kids might have felt this at some point, and might have blamed it on the music,
right?
Where this girl is blaming it on Rodeo, and her mom's the queen of the rodeo. And I immediately felt what this little girl's feeling, and like, God, I hope my older kids never felt that. But I'm sure they did. At some point,
Right.
So I didn't know I had such a strong feeling for the song. And once I had that feeling and I sang it, I knew it was
You had
okay.
to really connect to it.
It was okay then. You know what? Then I believed it. I believed not Dan, but I believed the little girl.
Yeah.
And again, that's kind of where this point in the story is it's you know, sometimes was all that you fought for worth it? And you don't know. It's a unending question.
I'll say this is watching you last night. I mean, telling that story about your older kids. Watching you last night with Grace and River, and having Grace come up and sing "Silver Wings." You know, you just look at her and she walked up and
Oh yeah,
locked eyes and sang it like she was born to sing it.
that's what I hope so.
It just, and then watching your wife and River dance back there in the back during your songs, it just, that the story you just told connects to what you've learned in all of this.
I think God gave me another shot at it, and to run it would be, I'm very weary of running it and having this in my head. And the song really resonated to me once I really listened to it. Again, It was, it's too popular. I don't want to, Dan got all the credit for that. It's not something that, the rest of the people were kind of like underrated, underdogs. And Dan wasn't. Dan had, you know, that was a very, very popular song. And to touch it, there's your other thing. It's like, oh, well, he's not Dan Seals. He can't do the.
Again, tribute, not copy.
I don't want anybody to say that they did not believe me when I sang that. And
I have it written down there. You sell this song so well.
That's all I wanted to do.
Right there. That, again, going back to my Heroes Have Been Cowboys, it's ballsy to sing a song that everybody knows because you're going to get compared to the original artist. And that's so not what this album is.
Yeah.
It's not, none of the songs are you trying to be Waylon Jennings, Chris Ledoux, all these guys. It's Jarrod Birmingham's take on all of these songs, and it's just so apparent in every single one.
I hope so.
And it's especially on this one. I mean, again, I worried when I saw the recognizable songs that you're going to be compared.
Yeah.
And
it was a chance. I mean, and again, you know, you when I read the people listening to this album and they write stuff on social media, again, here we go. There's people, boy, I cannot believe you cut Running Through the Rain. and I'm like, cool. And most of those are like cowboy people that I know. Then the other side of it, again, here you go. People that aren't. I had a doctor text me last night, that good friend, but a doctor, not a cowboy, not anything. It's like, oh my God, I love what you did with Everything That Glitters in the next song and the one that's after this one and stuff like that, because they were recognizable, but yet I hope they didn't think I tried to knock it off, you know, and play it just like it. And so I think, in conclusion, that I accomplished what I did it for the fans, and it looks like that